Hey guys, this is Iggy back again with Dragon Blogger. So today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the Thermaltake Core X31 mid-tower chassis. Of course, along with this bad boy, I got to put a bunch of components in it. So I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride while I build the machine. You know, I might teach you something, or if you already know, I might teach you a different method of doing something. But either way, I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride. This video though is just going to be for the unboxing. Inside of this case, I'm going to be using the EVGA X99 classified board. Then also with that, I'm going to be using some Kingston HyperX DDR4 memory as well. Also with that, I am going to be using the Intel 5930K processor. It's going to be, of course, a lot more to it, but I'll describe that a little bit later on in the actual review, not the unboxing. But anyway, let's start this unboxing real quick. So let me go get my knife, which of course I have with me. Open this bad boy up. Alright, got that guy open. Back in there nice and tight. I'll just reach in and pull it out. Can't do that. Then we'll go ahead, take off all this foam. Now, it does bring in here the user's manual. You can see that right over here. Alright, then also here, some information about the warranty, and I'll show you this all a little bit closer up in a minute, but I'm just doing the initial unboxing right now. Put this aside for right now. Alright, and to make things a little nicer for you guys, I'm going to put this guy on a little Lazy Susan, just so I don't have to keep picking it up. I can show you everything here. Now, let me pull you in a little bit closer just so you can see better detail. Here is the side of the Thermaltake Core X31. It may look a little ugly right now because it has all the protectant here, the film, to protect the glass over here. I'll go ahead and take that off, but while I'm taking it off, I want to go ahead and talk about the front of the case. The front has 2 slots for opticals. Some of you may not like opticals. I actually do. After I buy my kids new movies, I do like to burn the movies, put the originals away. That way the kids can watch the burns. That way when they scratch the DVDs, I don't have to buy new DVDs again. I have the original. I throw the copies away, break them first, then I throw them away. Then I just make copies again of the originals. So that's my justification. Alright. And so as I'm taking it off, one thing I do want to point out is the case right over here and here has a thumb screw. Right below it, it has a regular screw. Right below that, it has another screw and then another thumb screw. So this is not a toolless design. But either way, not a bad design just yet. And again, that's just by me looking at the outside. Just going to go ahead and unscrew these for you real quick. Alright, so if you saw, still looks ugly even though I took off that film. That's because it has a film on the inside too. So if I take it off, take off the side panel, take off that film, then put it back on. Looks a lot nicer, but of course you can't really see too much. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off because of the glare and everything, of course. Alright, so over here, this is actually a power supply cover. Alright, and right on top of the power supply cover, this allows for two 2.5 inch drives, be them SSDs or mechanical 2.5 inch drives. Alright, so that's just two drives right here. Under this power supply cover supports a 180 millimeter power supply or a 220 millimeter power supply without this power supply cover. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the back too. While I'm unscrewing the back, you guys can take a gander at the inside, just absorb it all. This case actually has a ton of features, and I will get into them in one sec. Alright, and I'll just flip it this way. Alright. So back here you have the ability to place either 3 2.5 inch drives or 3 3.5 inch drives, and of course I'll get into that a little bit more in the review, but I just wanted to show you that back here. So that's 5 drives in total so far. Again, the 2 on the top of the power supply, the 3 back here, but then you have options for 3 more, either 3.5 or 2.5 inch drives, and I'll go ahead slide it out for you. Here's a little baggie containing all of the screws and everything for this case. I'm not going to go ahead and bore you with the details of what type of screws and everything during the unboxing. I'll talk to you about that in the review itself. But you can see here, not only does it fit a 3.5 inch drive, but right here, 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 and here are screw holes, so you can actually put a 2.5 inch drive and it'll fit in this 3.5 inch bay. So very nice. Again, there's 3 of them here. Alright, so very nice design. 2, 3, 3 more in the back. That's up to 8 drives. Very nice. Actually, guys, I'm sorry. I was incorrect when I said that you can fit 8 drives, 2 here, 3 in the back. You can't use these and those in the back at the same time because, well, there's nowhere to put the drives. So what you have to do is, if you don't want them to be right here, because, you know, it blocks airflow, or you want to put something else, liquid cooling unit up in the front. You know, obviously you would take these guys out, then you would unscrew all this, totally take out the entire piece there. But then you get these drive cages right here, and you can just put them on just like this. Like that. I need to play around with those cables a little bit. And like that. So you can fit 3 in the back. Or 3 right here. Not both. Unless you buy extra of these drive trays and just slide both in, 3 in the front, 3 in the back. So on top of that, as I mentioned before, right up here, the optical drive bays, you can keep them to use 1 or 2 drives, optical drives, or anything else that'll take up a 5 1/4 bay. But you can also put one 3.5 inch drive on the top, 1 in the bottom, or in each of these trays you can fit 2 2.5 inch drives. So in total, you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drives. If you had 3 more of these guys, you can fit 10, 11, 12, up to 12 drives. Mind you, may not be the best configuration for airflow, but I just wanted to correct myself and just tell you guys a little bit more. Not to mention the opticals, though, of course, in the optical bays, you can mount some more SSDs or some more hard drives. Totally up to you, or you can just totally remove that. Now, you're still going to be left with these 2 here, though they are relatively nicely hidden. You know, the first time you see it, you might not notice it. You might have to look a little bit before you can actually see that there is 2 actually 5 1/4 inch drive bays there. All right, and as I mentioned, you can remove these 2 drive bays, and you can remove this drive bay as well. So the reason you can do that is this case is Thermaltake's LCS certified. So LCS stands for liquid cooling system. This bad boy supports either a 360 millimeter liquid cooling unit on the top, or should I say inside, or a 280 millimeter radiator. Then also in the back, it supports either a 120 or a 140 millimeter radiator. Down here, if I remove this drive bay, it supports either a 120 or a 140 millimeter radiator. Up at the front, it supports either a 280 millimeter or 360 millimeter radiator. So you can put them in the front, on the back, on the bottom, or at the very top. At the top, if you don't want to use liquid cooling at all, or to add to your liquid cooling features, you can either put at the very top 2 200 millimeter fans, or 3 140 millimeter fans, or 3 120 millimeter fans. On the back, it either supports 140 millimeter or 120 millimeter. At the bottom, it'll support either 2 120 millimeter or 2 140 millimeter. And at the front, it supports a 200 millimeter, a 140 millimeter, should I say 2 140 millimeters, or 2 120 millimeter fans. Okay? At the very top, you can see right here, it has a film. It is magnetic. You can see right here, it is magnetic. This film will protect against dust and also noise. So it'll reduce the noise, it'll reduce the dust inside of your case. So it's a nice little filter there. And that comes at the top, at the very bottom, which I'll show you right now. Right down here, at the very bottom of the case. See that there? And slides back easily. Then there's also one at the very front, right up here, and I'll show you that a little bit more in the review. Alright. Then of course you have, since this is liquid cool certified, you have this cutout here. That's if you have your motherboard already seated, you can easily access the back of the board without having to take out the motherboard just to put a back plate on, either for the liquid cooling unit or for your air cooling unit. You don't have to worry about that anymore. I know I've done that quite a few times on cases that didn't have this cutout. So I would have to take out the board, undo all the SATA connections, all the USB port headers, and all that other fun stuff. So you don't have to worry about that anymore. All right, then you have these cutouts over here, here, here. You may not be able to see it right down here, but where under the power supply housing, there's more cutouts, and just right here, there's more. That way you can have cables coming out of there. So all those cutouts, that way you can cable much nicer. And this case supports ATX, micro ATX, mini ATX, and it does support a little bit larger than ATX, but kind of gets in the danger zone having to list that out, but I'll actually show you that during the building review. So then, the case supports video cards up to 420 millimeters. That's without this hard drive cage here. Now, with the hard drive cage, it supports video cards up to 278 millimeters. And now, mind you, that's not only video cards. If you have any other card that's that long, the same measurements apply. If you have a very tall air cooler or anything that sticks out too far, you have up to 180 millimeters of clearance before you hit that glass, or you can open it up, but the airflow isn't as nice. Back here you have 8 expansion slots, and at the very front, you can see right here, I meant at the very top, you have 2 USB 2.0 slots and 2 USB 3.0 slots. Can't really see it that well from over here. Alright, so 2 USB 2.0s and 2 USB 3.0s. You have the power button, the reset button, the hard drive LED indicator light up here, your headphone port, and your microphone port. Alright, now the case does come with one rear 120 millimeter fan and one front down here 120 millimeter fan. Of course, again, you could put more fans anywhere throughout the case you would like. Well, just about anywhere, of course, you would like. So it looks like I'm going to have some fun with this case. It looks like it has a lot of extra features that many cases don't, and of course some features many cases do have. But aside from that, again, I'm going to be doing a full system build, showing you guys how to build not only inside of this case, again the Thermaltake Core X31 mid-tower chassis, but pretty much on how to build on any case that you want to build on. And one last thing I do want to mention, this does come with a 3-year warranty. Now mind you, they don't cover if you throw the case on the floor and break it, but like most manufacturers won't, but they have a 3-year warranty. Anyway, again, this is Iggy showing you the Thermaltake Core X31 mid-tower chassis, and bring you more soon. See you guys.